Yeah.
You can see it around the ring.
I will call the Football City Council meeting for Thursday, September 4th to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Councilman Baji,
Here.
Councilman Walker,
Here.
Mayor Wheaton,
Here.
Vice Mayor Eldridge,
Here.
Councilman Gilbert.
Here.
5 present.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to ask those that wish to do so to stand for the invocation given tonight by Pastor Steve Taboo of the River Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's pray. Father, you are awesome, and we come before you thanking you for the freedoms that we have in our city and our country. Thanking you, Lord, for the gift of our health to be here tonight. Thanking you, Lord, for our families in a town where we have values that we can raise our kids and our grandkids to honor and glorify you. I want to stand in the gap for our council today, Lord. I want to pray for wisdom, Lord. You say if we lack wisdom to ask for it, and you'll give it generously, Lord. We all lack wisdom because we are but humans. So we're asking God for your wisdom, your discernment for our team up here. And we thank you, Lord. We thank you for all the hours they volunteer, for the heart they have for our community. We pray your blessings on their families, for the time that they give for our community. We pray this all in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Steve. Item 3, consider approval of agenda as presented. Are there any changes? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Vice Mayor Eldridge. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Walker. Any discussion from the council? Okay, go ahead and take a vote on that.
All votes correct.
Good.
5 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Old business 5A, consider approval of minutes of council meeting held on August 21st, 2025. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Baji. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Eldridge. Any discussion from the public? Discussion from council? Okay, I'll vote.
All votes correct. 5 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. For the consent agenda, 6A, set a date 10/2/25 for a public hearing on ordinance 0250916, amending the zoning code illustration 24 dumpster detail. 6B, set a date for 10/2/25 for a public hearing on ordinance 0250917, amending the zoning code relative to driveway resurfacing requirements for residential developments. Item 6C, consider awarding bid for 2 100 kVA pad transformers. 6D, consider awarding bid for 6 75 kVA CSP transformers. 6E, consider awarding bid for 6 75 kVA con transformers. 6F, consider awarding bid for 25,000, 40 TPX wire. 6G, consider awarding bid for 10,000 40 aluminum primary cable. URD. I remember that one. 6H, consider approval to purchase various meters for the advanced meter infrastructure project. 6I, consider awarding bid for advanced metering infrastructure components, dual port radios. And 6J, consider awarding bids for uniforms. Is there a motion on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Motion made by Vice Mayor Eldridge, seconded by Councilman Gilbert. Any discussion from the public on the consent agenda? Discussion from council? Okay, we'll vote.
All votes correct. 5 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Moving on to new business, 7A, consider on first reading ordinance 0250915, amending the municipal code of the city of Cookeville, Tennessee, Title 5, Chapter 6, credit or debit card payments. Ms. Niswander.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This ordinance amends Title 5, Chapter 6 of the Municipal Code. This change removes some outdated language and processes with credit card and debit card payments other than for utilities. It also formalizes a $20 return payment fee and requires the returned item and fee be paid by cash, money order, or other certified funds. And it also sets a requirement if 2 payment items are returned by the bank within a 12-month period, payment in cash, money order, or certified funds must be used for the next 12-month period.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Vice Mayor Eldridge, seconded by Councilman Baji. Any discussion from the public on this agenda item? Discussion from council?
I need to know that today is Miss Niswander's birthday.
Do we sing now? Is there a motion to sing happy birthday? to her?
Motion.
We just say happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And she's never presenting again.
No.
Please stand up. Oh my gosh. Well, happy birthday. We have a motion and a second on that as
Yeah,
well.
thanks,
Wish
thanks.
you happy birthday, but we've got a motion and a second on the item here, 7A. Any discussion, any more discussion from council? No? Okay, we will go ahead and take a vote.
All votes correct. 5 yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
You. 7B, consider entering into a 5-year contract with Versaterm for the DroneSense Comprehensive Drone Management Platform. Chief Winfrey.
Mayor and council, we're requesting authorization for the city manager to enter into a 5-year contract with Versaterm. This would be contingent upon the removal of the indemnity clause as in the contract and the recommendation after that by the city attorney. This contract is for the comprehensive drone management platform referred to as DroneSense. It will allow the police department to record the telemetry of the drone during training and operational use. This platform also allows video streaming to multiple devices, which improves our real-time situational awareness. The first year cost for this platform is $6,700. It has a $2,400 rebate. Years 2 through 5 would cost $9,100 per year. This is a budget item, and I request your approval. I would be glad to answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Vice Mayor Eldridge, seconded by
Eric.
Eric.
Motion.
Councilman Walker.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any discussion from the public on this agenda item? Discussion from council? Okay, go ahead and vote.
All votes correct. 5 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 7C, consider authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Tays Realty and Auction LLC to provide an internet-only auction service for the sale of court-awarded firearms. Chief Winfrey.
Yes, Mayor and Council, we're requesting authorization for the city manager to enter into a contract with Tays Realty and Auction LLC. This would be to provide an internet-only auction service for the sale of court-awarded firearms. Tays Realty and Auction would receive a 10% buyer's premium and a 10% seller's commission for the items sold. I request your approval and would be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Walker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Baji. Any discussion from the public on this item? Discussion from council?
Bit early, bit off.
All right, we'll go ahead and take a vote then.
All votes correct. 5 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 7D, consider authorizing the city manager to execute change order number 2, final, for the 10th Street widening project, Phase 2 from Wilson Avenue to Fisk Road for project closeout and to set substantial completion date. Ms. Elrod.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So this is the final adjusting change order for the 10th Street project. This will set the final contract quantity. This is making final adjustments for any unused items. So there's deductions for any unused items. And then we had some additional items for irrigation systems and some additional work done in the construction contract. So this will bring the change order number 2 is a deduction of $78,635.38. It will bring the final construction contract for the 10th Street Phase 2 project to $8,240,154.62. In addition to this change, we will be setting the substantial completion date. Originally, it was a 540-day contract with expected substantial completion of October 22nd. So this 10th Street Phase 2 has been open and running for a while. So with this final adjust and change order, we would like to set the substantial completion to date as of today's meeting, September 4th. That will set the final contract at 486 days, which is a reduction of contract time by 54 days. We have been under budget on this project. We initially budgeted 10 million. To date, we've spent about 9.3 million, and we have about 500 to 700,000 budgeted over the next fiscal year to finish closing out this project internally. So if you have any questions, I can answer those, and I would request your approval.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion made by Councilman Walker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Eldridge. Any discussion from the public? Discussion from council?
Great job.
Yeah,
They've done a great job.
I think that's very impressive in the past few years to get something to come in under budget.
And ahead of time.
And have-
There you go.
Excellent work.
And if you haven't driven over there, it's great.
It's great.
Mhm. Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, got a motion in a second, so we'll go ahead and vote.
All votes correct? Yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
7E, consider authorizing the city manager to execute an amendment to review, an amendment to review the Tennessee Pipeline Agreement. Mr. Haney.
Mayor and council members, our existing agreement with Tennessee Pipeline expires this October 31st. This agreement provides Cookeville with about 3,500 decatherms of gas capacity. This new amendment will extend the expiration date to October 31st, 2030. This amendment also increases the cost per decatherm from $5.93 to $7.30. We've looked at the impact that this would have on our customers. We looked at the last 12 months, and our customers will see an average increase of about 3.7 cents is about what it's going to equal to. Summer months where the usage is low, it's actually under a penny that it would affect their bill. So most people would not even see that in the summertime. Wintertime, it gets up around 11 cents that it would affect some of our customers' bills. So this 3,500 decatherms, this capacity is needed. We need it for presently need it, plus also need it for the growth. As Cookeville grows, we'll need this. So I do recommend your approval on this agreement.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So move.
Motion made by Councilman Baji, seconded by Councilman Gilbert. Any discussion from the public on this? Discussion from council? Thank you for finding that information out because we did want to make sure that our customers knew what this was going to look like for them. So thank you. All right, got a motion and a second. We'll go ahead and take a vote.
All votes correct? Yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 7F, hold a public hearing and consider on first reading ordinance 025-610, amendment to the zoning code to remove drive-through restaurants as permitted use within the CN Neighborhood Commercial District. Mr. Ward.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. Ms. Peggy Sims submitted a request to amend the zoning code regarding drive-through restaurants as permitted within the CN Neighborhood Commercial Zoning District. This was established through ordinance 018-0510. Council heard this item and held a public hearing on July 3rd, 2025, and requested the item be sent back to the Planning Commission for further review. So ordinance 018-05-010 was approved by the city council in June of 2018. The subject amendment in the ordinance stated that the neighborhood commercial district would be amended under permitted uses and structures by deleting the words excluding drive-through restaurant in section 220.2B and replacing with drive-through restaurants are prohibited unless accessed from streets of major collector or greater status. Ordinance 0250610 is presented at the July 3rd City Council meeting, amended the zoning code to allow drive-through restaurants as a use permitted upon appeal, a special exception requiring a public hearing and Board of Zoning Appeals approval. During City Council review of the proposed amendment of deleting drive-through restaurants as a use permitted by right and making drive-through restaurants a use permitted on appeal, council members voiced concerns regarding protections for residential neighborhoods adjacent to potential drive-throughs. Citizens voiced their concerns to the council, and the amendment was sent back to the Planning Commission for further consideration of protections for residential neighborhoods. Planning Division researched comparable cities in an attempt to researched how comparable cities attempt to protect neighborhoods when they are adjacent to drive-through restaurants. Murfreesboro required a 200-foot separation from the menu board to the property line of any adjacent single-family home. Other considerations that were reviewed by the Planning Commission included sound barriers, limiting hours of operation for menu boards, requiring location standards for menu boards, or prohibiting amplified menu boards altogether. The Planning Commission also reviewed standards for dumpster locations, and they also considered removing drive-through restaurants as a permitted use within the CN district. So at our work session Monday, I know there were questions, council had questions about coffee shops. I consulted with our chief building official. Coffee shops are considered 303.3 Assembly Group A2. Anything intended for food or drink or consumption is under the same standard of the building code. So a coffee shop with a drive-through would also be considered a restaurant. I know council also had some questions about how we define that. While we don't have a text definition in our code, we do differentiate between the two uses in the charter permitted uses. So after further public review and comment at the Planning Commission meeting, the Planning Commission recommended to remove drive-through restaurants as permitted in the CN Neighborhood Commercial District as recommended by the Planning Division. So the ordinance before you tonight, the revised ordinance of 0250610 would delete drive-through restaurants as a permitted use within the CN zone. I recommend your approval of this ordinance. Happy to answer any questions council may have on this.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Bachi. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Walker. This is a public hearing, so we will open up the meeting for anyone who'd like to speak on this agenda item. Okay, seeing none, we will close the public hearing portion. Any comments from the council?
In general, I'd like to thank everybody that reached out to me. I had a lot of respectful and perspectives presented to me, and thank you for that. And it was helpful as we went through this process.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I think I just heard a lot of comments from the public on this, and I think this represents what the people in those neighborhoods want to see.
All right, we'll go ahead and take a vote then.
All votes correct? 5 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 7G, hold a public hearing and consider on first reading ordinance 0250812, rezoning property located at 1630 Blackwell Road, tax map 83, parcel 75.00 from light manufacturing to CI commercial industrial mixed use. Mr. Ward.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Here's a general location of the property on Blackwell Road. Here is a parcel map of the property. Here we have an aerial view. This is our existing zoning designation. The lot contains approximately 0.94 acres. The rezoning request, including street right-of-ways, contains approximately 2.23 acres. The property is currently zoned LM Light Manufacturing, as are adjacent properties to the northwest and south. The property is bordered by CI, Commercial Industrial Mixed Use, to the northeast and south. The application for rezoning stated rezoning is respectfully requested for, among others, strategic location along a major interstate, compatibility with surrounding land uses, market demand and economic benefit, better alignment with the property potential, no adverse impacts on residential areas. Rezoning the property from LM to CI reflects a practical and forward-looking use of a strategically located parcel. It aligns with market trends, supports economic development, complements neighboring uses, and enhances the property's potential for community serving commercial activity. So that was the application that was submitted. Our future land use plan designates the subject property as best suited for mixed use, commercial industrial uses. The CI zoning is compatible, would comply with that designation. Rezoning to CI from LM would be a down zone from the current designation. There is an existing single-family structure located on the property. We anticipate that would be a candidate for redevelopment if this is rezoned. Well, here's some aerial views of the property. You can see that's looking back to the north. It's looking to the east. Also looking southeast. This ordinance to rezone was approved by the Planning Commission as recommended by the Planning Division. I recommend your approval. Happy to answer any questions council has on this.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion made by Councilman Walker. Is there a second? Second by Vice Mayor Eldridge. This is also a public hearing. So is there anyone who would like to speak on this agenda item here? Okay, Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Any comments from the council? All right, go ahead and take a vote.
Five yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 7H, hold a public hearing and consider on first reading ordinance 025-0813, zoning property located at 2034 West Broad Street, portion of tax map 039, parcel 205.00, from CI Commercial Industrial Mixed Use to CL Local Commercial. Mr. Ward.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Here is the general location of the property on the corner of Tennessee Avenue and West Broad Street. Here is the parcel map. An aerial view of the tract. The subject parcel in its entirety consists of approximately 41 acres. The area included in the rezoning is around 16.25 acres. The rezoning area, including street right-of-ways, consists of approximately 19 acres. The parcel is currently split zone, CI Commercial Industrial Mixed Use and CL Local Commercial. It's bordered by CL to the northwest and east, and by CI to the east and south, and by RS 20, Single Family Residential on the other side of Tennessee Avenue to the west. The application for rezoning stated the parcel is currently split zoned, requesting homogeneous zoning for mixed-use development. Our future land use plan designates this property as best suited for local commercial and mixed-use commercial industrial uses on the southern end. The CL district would comply with this designation. Rezoning from CI to CL would again be a downzoning of this property. A vehicle salvage yard is currently located on the subject property. Redevelopment of the site would enhance aesthetics along Tennessee Avenue and the West Broad Street corridor. Here we have some aerial views. This is, you can see the railroad at the bottom of your screen. This is looking back to the north. It's looking back to the northeast. It's looking to the southwest, the wooded portion of this property. There's been a lot of the salvage cars that have been removed from this parcel. We didn't update the picture since the Planning Commission considered it. I think they've removed more cars since the Planning Commission considered this in June. So this rezoning has been approved by the Planning Commission as recommended by the Planning Division. I recommend approval. Happy to answer questions from council on this.
Thank you. Is there a motion? Motion made by Councilman Bachi. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Walker. Public hearing again. So anyone who would like to speak on this agenda item? All right, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing portion. Any comments from the council?
Mayor, I'd like to recuse from this as I'm a party to this item.
Thank you. We'll note that. Any other comments? All right, go ahead and take a vote.
It's my first yellow.
Yeah, I'm about to say you push the yellow button.
All that's correct. 4 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 7I, hold a public hearing and consider on first reading ordinance 025-0814, authorizing a public street access point on Tennessee Avenue for properties located north of the Nashville Eastern Railroad and authorizing a public street access point for Event Center Drive for the Putnam County Fairgrounds and for the Putnam County Bus and Maintenance Garage. Mr. Ward.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. In conjunction with the rezoning request for 2034 West Broad Street, the petitioner requested consideration for an access point on Tennessee Avenue. Tennessee Avenue is classified as a local interstate connector street and is operated as a partially controlled access facility as established by ordinance 017-1122. No public driveway access is permitted on Tennessee Avenue. Access to the street is limited to selected public streets. When Tennessee Avenue was constructed, 4 access points were built at locations along the street from I-40 to West Broad Street, where public streets must be constructed and properties must be developed from these parallel access streets. No access points were planned north of the Nashville and Eastern Railroad to West Broad Street. The distance from the railroad to West Broad Street is approximately 2,650 feet, or just over a half mile. The tract proposed for rezoning had approximately 733 feet of frontage on West Broad, and that tapered to around 640 feet at the railroad. The Planning Division has received multiple requests for driveway access for the property on the western corner of West Broad Street and Tennessee Avenue. So that's, if you see the intersection, the property on the left side of the screen at the corner of West Broad and Tennessee Avenue. That subject tract has approximately 410 feet of street frontage on Tennessee Avenue. During the discussions I've had with several developers there, we have recommended the developers coordinate a public street access location for parallel access to properties on both the western and eastern sides of the street. The property with the majority of street frontage on the west side of Tennessee Avenue only has access from Dyer Grimes Road through existing residential properties. So you can see where the Dyer Grimes Road comes in, the majority of the property on the west side, that's the only access they have to the track. Due to no planned access north of the railroad, the distance from the railroad to West Broad Street, and limited access for property on the west side of the street, the Planning Division recognizes justification for another access point north of the railroad to accommodate development on both the east and west sides of Tennessee Avenue. The Planning Commission reviewed this additional proposed access point north of the railroad located south of the left turn lane taper on Tennessee Avenue as depicted on your screen. Putnam County has constructed a new public street, Event Center Drive, as the first connection to Tennessee Avenue. The northern access point for Event Center Drive was not included as an improved connection to Tennessee Avenue. The street has been constructed and a final plat was approved by the Planning Commission to dedicate Event Center Drive as a public street. Putnam County also has plans to develop a bus garage and highway maintenance facility on the east side of Tennessee Avenue with plans to align an access street for these facilities with Event Center Drive. So you can see Event Center Drive is depicted on this map, and that is a proposed location. The initial site plans that were provided by Putnam County included a proposed street to be constructed to access those facilities. We would require those streets to be continued to access parcels to the south and tie back in at an approved access point. So ordinance 0250814 would formally authorize an additional access point on Tennessee Avenue north of the Nashville and Eastern Railroad and authorize the access point for Event Center Drive and the Putnam County Bus Garage and Maintenance Garage. I recommend approval. Happy to answer any questions council has on this one.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion made by Vice Mayor Eldridge, seconded by Councilman Baji. This is a public hearing as well. So anyone who would like to speak to this agenda item? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing portion. Any comments from the council?
Mayor, I'll recuse from this one as well, since I'm party to the one in the north.
Okay, thank you. All right, we've got a motion and a second, so let's go ahead and vote.
I would like to say before we jump on that vote, I think this is, Tennessee Avenue wasn't supposed to have added access points. I think in this case, it's a unique situation where it really benefits the public, and it also addresses on the north side, the area above the railroad track. I think those are important things to point out, without this access, those properties not be developed is what we want to see along Tennessee Avenue. And with the fairgrounds and the county's initiatives, that's also a huge benefit to the public. And so I think those are unique situations, and that access points, as John said in his proposal, just would like to reiterate that I don't think that we should add more access points down the road.
Any other comments? Okay, I'll vote.
All those correct? Or yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 7J, hold a public hearing on proposed Dodson Branch Road annexation by referendum and annexation plan of services. Mr. Ward.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. At the July 17th meeting, Council approved Resolution R250609 that set a date of today, September 4th, 2025, for a public hearing on an annexation by referendum and plan of services for the Dodson Branch Road annexation area. This area is located north of the city limits on Dodson Branch Road and Highway 135. Here is depicted on the map on the screen. The area consists of approximately 275 total acres. This area includes 374 dwelling units with an estimated population of 842 individuals. The annexation area includes approximately 2,583 linear feet of streets for Kennard Road, Shipley Road, and Forest Road, for which the city would be responsible for maintenance. Dotson Branch Road is not included as it's a state highway and maintained by TDOT in that street mileage number. Anticipated property tax revenues are approximately $179,299, with state shared taxes projected to be approximately $150,280, resulting in an estimated total annual revenue of approximately $329,579 per year. The total estimated cost to provide city services to the annexation area is approximately $7,657,147. Of this, approximately $6,613,475 is the estimated cost to provide sewer service to the area. The annexation area and proposed plan of services have been reviewed by the Planning Commission. As I stated to council on September 4th, the Planning Commission did suggest to include an estimated date to provide sewer service, but they did not make a formal change to the plan of services. But that was a part of the discussion the Planning Commission had when reviewing the plan of services. So our plan of services for this area to provide city services reads as follows. For police protection, patrolling, radio response to calls, and other routine police services using present personnel and equipment will be provided upon the effective date of annexation. Fire protection would be provided by present personnel and equipment of the firefighting force within the limitations of available water supply and distances from existing fire stations, and that would be provided upon the effective date of annexation. For water service is currently provided to the annexation area by the city of Cookeville at city rates. Sanitary sewer service in the plan of services states it will be provided to the annexation area by the city of Cookeville at city rates upon the completion of improvements needed to the proposed annexation area. Solid waste collection and disposal, the same regular refuse collection service now provided within the city shall be extended to the annexation area within 60 days after an effective date of annexation. Streets, emergency maintenance of streets, repair of hazardous chuck holes, measures necessary for traffic flow, et cetera, will begin on the effective date of annexation. Routine maintenance on the same basis as the present city will begin in the annexed area upon the effective date of annexation. Reconstruction and resurfacing of streets, installation of storm drainage facilities, constructions of curbs and gutters, and other major improvements will be accomplished under the current policies of the city. Traffic signals, traffic signs, street marking, and other traffic control devices will be installed as the need is established by appropriate study and traffic standards. Inspection services now provided by the city included building, plumbing, gas, housing, fire, et cetera, will begin on the effective date of annexation. Planning and zoning, the planning and zoning jurisdiction of the city will extend to the annexed area on the effective date of annexation. City planning will thereafter encompass the annexed area. An ordinance establishing the zoning for the area shall be adopted following a referendum on annexation. Recreational facilities, residents of the annexation area may use all existing recreational facilities, parks, et cetera, on the effective date of annexation. The same standards and policies now used in the present city will be followed in expanding the recreational programs and facilities in the enlarged city. Electrical service and street lighting. Electrical service for domestic, commercial, and industrial use to the annexed area will continue to be provided by the Upper Cumberland Electric Membership Cooperative. The city of Cookeville will provide street lighting improvements within 2 years of annexation. And finally, natural gas service. Natural gas is provided by the city of Cookeville in the annexation area and is available. Natural gas will be extended based on customer demand and when economically feasible. So as a step in the annexation process, council is required to hold a public hearing on the plan of services to move forward with an annexation by referendum, which would have to go to referendum in the annexed area. Council would need to approve a resolution calling for the referendum and approving a plan of services for the proposed annexed area. So happy to answer any questions from council on this.
Yeah, I've got a few questions, John. I think you said a lot there. Well, it was a lot to unpack. I think I've studied this. I've heard a lot of comments from people in that community outside of the city on how it might affect them. And I've tried to think about it like, well, you know, I love living in the city and I love all the services. I love getting my trash picked up. I think that's probably one of the best services that goes underrated, having that weekly trash service. But sewer might not happen right away, correct?
Well, you know, you see the cost estimates to provide services to the annexed area. I mean, sewer is, you know, the overwhelming majority of the cost to provide city services. I know from my conversations with Mr. Turner, it's an involved project because of the elevation change you've got. I mean, you're going down, you know,
Yeah, so if
several feet.
if I was a homeowner over there, I'd want to consider like my septic situation, what that sewer down the road might bring to me, and how that would affect me. And kind of, would that also help with density on certain parcels depending on how they're designed? Would that kind of improve that going from septic to sewer?
Well, absolutely. I mean, you know, sewer is a catalyst to provide density in residential development and, you know, other types of development and commercial and industrial as well. There is a lot of apartment development in the area already, right? And those are on septic systems. But, you know, I'm sure they have a lot of unused property there that's dedicated to a septic system and the drainage fields. And you have to be able to duplicate those areas because, you know, they anticipate problems will occur and those might have to be, you know, you have to have an area to duplicate that in case you have problems in your existing area. So to answer your question, yes, densities could be increased.
And I think that's why we see a lot of apartments or not just apartments, but you know, whether it's more than one house built on a lot, you know, things that areas get higher property value inside the city with sewer access down the road. And I don't think that's something that'll happen overnight. You did mention it, but the trash pickup would happen overnight. Sounds like streetlights and a lot of other services. Road maintenance was something that came up. I think there's been some issues in that area with dirt coming on the road and issues like that. We would start to take care of all that within the city, correct?
It would fall under our jurisdiction, right? I mean, there's a property that's been, you know, the petitioner for this project has, you know, there's been some grading activity on a property. But, you know, under our MS4 and our stormwater requirements, you know, that would now fall under our jurisdiction. So it would be Public Works' responsibility to permit that, bring it into compliance for issues that, you know, some of the issues you're mentioning.
Yeah. Fire service, that helps our insurance rates, correct?
Correct.
Inside the city. So having that response time for fire service is a big deal. I think we've talked about that in the past and at city meetings. I wanted to mention.
You know, we have an ISO of 2.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the city of Cookeville has a very high rating.
So you might
Of
save
the
some
ISO.
money there and just looking
Yes.
at. And of course, I don't have any property over there and it's not going to affect me. And I don't get to decide whether it's annexed or not. I think that's an important thing to understand is that the council's not making that decision. Everybody has to make that for themselves if we move forward. I think the biggest thing we're doing now is just hearing out what you were recommending as our plan services, and what people kind of would get for those. So that's all the clarification I wanted to have.
In addition to that, too, at some point, the city will also be providing electricity at some point down the road, right? Probably in the early 2030s.
Well, we're under the restriction from settlements from previous annexations, and you're right, Council Bossie, that expires in the early 2030s, and it would be probably another city manager, but it'd be my recommendation that we aggressively pursue serving any areas that are that we've annexed. I mean, that's a significant savings for residents. And on the sewer, I want to say too, you pointed out, what typically happens in situations like this, portions of the area are served before other portions. For example, if this one property, the guy wants to develop it and wants to pay for the sewer cost share on it, that can make it happen much, much quicker. And I would anticipate that probably happening in this situation. But there'll be other areas that typically it depends on if their septic tanks are working or not. Most people, if your septic tank works, don't really want sewer because you got to pay for it once it's out there. So you let your septic system work as long as it can.
Do you have to pay for sewer before it's out there?
No, you do not.
Not until it's available.
That was a question I got asked, and I thought that was the answer to it. And the water rates, are they cheaper inside the city limits?
Well, that was one of the questions I had. You're showing on there, they're paying inside rate.
I was gonna bring that up. Could you go to that slide, John?
Right.
Because we're currently charged outside the city rates,
Yeah.
but effective on annexation.
Would be inside the city. That may have been a typo on the.
What, 30% higher outside the city, Barry?
50% higher.
50% higher, so you automatically get a 50% reduction in your water.
So I think if it were me owning a property outside the city, I think I'd just take into consideration several of those things. I'd talk to my insurance company, look at, maybe I'd take the trash to, is Bangham the closest, county receptacle? Brush pickup, a lot of services.
Bulk item pickup, that's a huge benefit to folks that,
And I
you
know
can
like
schedule
I
that.
sound like I'm selling it to everybody, but I'm not trying to. I'm just
Just
trying to
highlighting
clarify
them.
all the services.
Yeah.
I think it's really up to the homeowners out there, whether or not they want to be a part of the
Say
city.
something about it, you need to put that in.
Do we have a timeline on the sewer?
Not in the plan of services as recommended by the planning commission, right? This has been reviewed by the planning commission. That was discussed and they did make that recommendation, but there was no timeline established.
I would be.
And everybody's familiar with how our
Putting it.
plans of services, our annual public hearings. We have several annexed areas that included a 20-year plan of service, a timeline to install sewer service.
So you can-
And then a lot of the
Yeah.
areas were left open-ended.
Yeah, that's something that we can accomplish
The
moving
motion
forward.
to approve, they can set a date.
Yes, so that would be on a consideration, to approve. Tonight, we're just scheduling a public hearing.
Yeah, and if I was a homeowner there and I want to know how much taxes I pay, I can just put my assessed value into there's a calculator on the city website, correct? And we can look at what I would pay.
Yeah, there's a formula,
Yeah.
yes.
So you can go onto the city's website and you can look at what the extra taxes would be. It's certainly not gonna be as much as what you're paying in county taxes currently, because our rate is much, much cheaper.
You have
About
to
a
get
third
your
list.
assessed value from the property assessor's office. If you have that number, you can go on our site and there is a formula, but you have to go get your own value from the tax assessor's office to calculate that.
Any other comments from the council before we open the public hearing? Okay, I'll need a motion first.
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Bocce, seconded by Vice Mayor Eldridge. So now we will open up the public hearing portion. Is there anyone who would like to speak to this agenda item? Okay, seeing, yes, go ahead. If you'll come up here, name, whether you live in the city or county, and 3-minute time limit.
Donita Hill, I'm a realtor for 48.5 years. Yes, I live right there on 10th Street where you're going to be doing wonderful expansions. I will be helping, and there's been a request that Mr. Lee Harble, who has an auto salvage business at 1301 Shipley Road, but it's going to be asking for that to be considered for annexation into the city, simply because there's a better use for that property than what it is now. And as we continue to grow, and it's obvious that we're going to grow at a greater rate, we're having more and more people move into our city asking for senior living. And we really don't have that. That piece of property would be perfect for that, with having the annexation to provide the sewer and all. Of course, we know multi-families are still, you build and they'll come. So I'm hoping that people will be aware of that, and it probably hopefully will make the agenda in May. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
You included that property in this, John?
Yes, it is. I was showing it depicted on the screen. It's you can see it's on the Shipley Road side of the area. We've been through several iterations of this. Council understands. We provided an initial area. Water Quality reported that they could sewer a larger area. It wouldn't cost much more to sewer a larger area, so we revised that area, and then we got contacted by folks that wanted to be included, so we increased the area again. And we've since been contacted since we put signs in the annexed area with other interested persons wanting to be included that are on the border of this. So, it could even be revised again to include folks that were interested.
So if,
Essentially across the street from that salvage yard.
so if more people did want to add on to this, what would be the process for the council?
We would need to review it through the planning commission and bring it back to the council to include any
So-
additional parcels. Because they're required to review the annexation area and the plan of services.
And tonight, do we vote on this public hearing?
No, you're just holding a public hearing only. I did not schedule any resolution for consideration. I wanted the council to have an opportunity to hear from the public on this.
Go over the next steps in this, John, so everybody understands the process.
So the next steps would be to approve a resolution calling for a referendum. And that resolution also approves the plan of services for the annexation and for the proposed annexed area, right? And once that resolution is approved within 30 to 60 days, the election commission would hold a special election. All right, now we've discussed that. That would be a special election. The costs are significantly more, or if we include it in the next general election in May, it's a much lesser cost for the city to include that question for or against annexation on the regular ballot in May. But that's the next steps. And if we make changes, we would need to go back through the process and the planning division would have to do some additional notification.
So there will be a vote only for the people who live in the area that's being considered for annexation, and those people will get to vote on it. And that is how it will come to fruition.
That is correct.
It is not us passing, it's not us passing anything. This goes to a vote and it gets approved by that. Okay.
It
Yes,
still has to come back to the council one more time for you to authorize the referendum
yes,
and to approve the plan of services. And we talked about
Also, we can,
the 20 years for sewer. That would be the time when you adopt the plan of services, you can insert the 20 years, correct, John?
correct.
But there's one more opportunity for this, you guys to review this, to decide, do we want to spend the money to have an election to do this? And that depends,
We have surveyed the area. We've sent letters out. I mean, we've just not gotten a lot of responses. It's been about 50-50. Just not a lot of data we've been able to ascertain through our efforts to give council an idea if the majority of people are in favor of this or are not in favor of it, right? I mean, I've shared with you guys what we've been able to determine through our efforts.
is there, oh, sorry. Let's see if there's anyone else who wanted to speak, but. Okay.
Well, question I have is if between now and then, if someone says, hey, I've got property, I'd like to be part of the annexation. How does that happen? Does it got to come back to us and we go through this entire process again, or can we make amendments?
I think at this point, you have to move forward with what you have.
Okay.
Or the planning commission would have to review the proposed annex area. So it would need to go back, but at some point you've got to draw a line in the sand. And this is what's went through the process. And these people have been notified per state law, and then you can move forward with the referendum.
Gotcha. How far are we into that process right now?
I can put the resolution on next month's agenda to move forward with this. If you want to have a special called election.
To get here though, to get to this point, how far are we? Is it several months of meetings, I think?
Yes. No, which we've been back and forth, and there's been no real pressing timeline. We wanted to do our due diligence on this, and so no, we've revised the area to include, more the Shipley Road parcels that were interested in being included potentially. So
when did you get the first request then?
in April.
Okay, that tells you how far we go.
So you could move a little faster with progress if somebody wanted to be added. There's maybe still an opportunity for that, or?
Yeah, I would, if that's the change, I would take it back to the planning commission and bring it back to the council and do the notice.
And to make the May election, which saves the city a lot of money. Because it's more than one election district, correct?
Yes, it's in 2 precincts, 2 voting precincts, and that's what makes the cost more. It's more costly on the council to have this election because this area is included in 2 precincts. And it's just like they have to do it just like a regular election. The early voting is required. They have to pay the poll workers just like you're having a general election.
I'd just like to remind everybody that it won't change who you've been voting on in the county, but it will give you privileges to vote in the city.
Correct.
Run for the council.
Yeah, or run for city council,
Run for
yeah.
city council.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else in the public who would like to speak on this agenda item? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing portion. Sounds like we had some good council discussion. Any further discussion from the council? Okay, we'll go ahead and take a vote then. Nope, no, we will not take a vote. I'm just kidding. We will come back to this again.
Yeah.
Y'all will vote. We will do it later. Yes, okay, so that completes the agenda portion of this meeting. Is there anyone who'd like to speak to the city council on any non-agenda items? Okay, seeing none. I do want to make an announcement. I'm sure some of y'all were aware that we bought some property down on the west side, and we actually met with 4 design firms, national, international, local, and gave us great presentations so we can figure out the path forward that we want to go for this area. And we have made the decision to go with ASA Engineering and Consulting in partnership with Tinker MA. We're going to be moving forward with them on this project. We already have a meeting scheduled with them in the next week or two. We want to hit the ground running with this. And so we'll be meeting with them and moving forward on the 39 Depot 39 Depot property. So I just wanted to announce that. Thank you everyone for who submitted. It was great presentations, and we are excited to go with this firm. Oh, and yeah, Fall Fun Fest tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, roads will be shut down. So make sure you're aware of that around the square, things like that.
I got one comment after that.
You're full of comments.
I'm full of it.
Let's go. What else you got to
We
say?
got a good crowd tonight.
I know. All right. What else? Yeah. What would you like to say? It's like you're.
Oh, no, Fall Fun Fest is this weekend.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great. I would actually like to thank the city council. The Rotary Club of Cookville helped to host a poverty simulation this week in coordination with the Chamber of Commerce, UCHRA, and I'm forgetting one, UCHRA, the Chamber of Commerce, the Rotary Club of Cookville. And it was in the Putnam County school system. Don't want to forget them. They really put a lot of effort and energy into this. It was a great dialogue, great experience. We had representatives from the council, from the city as well, show up. I think it was a very good program to be a part of, and just try to help us understand issues that people are dealing with. And I just like to thank you all for participating in that coming this week. So thank you.
Mayor, I do have one other thing I'd like to.
We'll stay here all night.
I'd
Just kidding.
like to introduce our new Legal Services Director,
You guys stand up.
Chad McDonald.
Chad,
Chad has
thank you for
accepted-
taking the time. Yeah.
Well, Rick leaves us in October 3rd. Is that right, Rick? You got it marked off on your calendar, I know.
Countdown on his phone.
October 4th, Chad will take over. I really appreciate Chad agreeing to step up. This is, I'm so excited for him to take over. We're going to miss Rick, of course, but I think we could, there's not a better candidate out there to replace Rick. So I just want to take a moment to recognize Chad.
Agreed.
Yay.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Anything else? Going once, going twice. Meeting is adjourned.